thinks he's still undefeated. It'd be among the worst decisions ever if he didn't get this one.
He just gave David Lemieux the worst night of his career.
And he keeps getting better, guys, throughout his professional career.
And the level of confidence is palpable. I mean,
I'm interested to see what the cards is. Now, we're here live, real time. I've stayed off of social media. Now, Billy Joe Saunders should have won every single round. Oh, there you go right there. Harold Letterman's scorecard, 120 to 108. He did exactly what he was supposed to do as far as skill, as far as game plan, and also making a statement in the 160-pound division that now creates a real question. Can he beat Canelo or GGG, the guy you saw tonight? Here are the three judges. This is going to be interesting. We're going to put the sound back on in a minute. I'm TstreeT Controversy. This is TstreeT Controversy Live. His post-fight interviews are known to be pretty good. So I'm interested in hearing what he has to say. I'm kind of upset that I don't have the Boxnation on right now. This is from HBO, because I know he's going to do an HBO interview and likely a Boxnation BT Sport interview. Please subscribe. All the links to my social media right there below in the description box.
191 fights. He recently judged James DeGale against Caleb Truax in London on December the 9th for the IBF Super Middleweight title. So those are the three judges, Jim.
I think he's ready.
And you saw there was a nasty moment in Lemieux's corner, and now Saunders tries to put his arms around Lemieux.
We're going to talk about the fight after the after they read the scorecards. Yo, this was listen. This is his fourth fight in just under 2 years. He won the title from Andy Lee December the 19th of 2015. It's December the 17th now because it's after midnight of 2017. So he fought Willie Monroe just about 3 months ago, September the 16th. And then he fought David Lemieux, just 3 months later, which may explain why he just was so sharp, staying active still.
118 to 110, all three scorecards to the winner by...
Those are the three judges, Jim.
Saunders!
My bad. My mouth.
Corner, and now Saunders tries to put his arms around Lemieux.
I heard it though, but still.
Somewhat uninterested in the discussion. And now Michael Buffer has the scores in hand, and the suspense for me is, did somebody find a way to give a round to Lemieux? I suspect not, but we'll see.
After 12 rounds
Who's that he talking to?
Championship Boxing, we go to the scorecards. Benoit Roussel scores at 120 to 108. Gerardo Martinez 117 to 111. And Phil Edwards 118 to 110. All three scorecards to the winner by unanimous decision. And still WBO Middleweight Champion of the World, still undefeated, the superb Billy Joe Saunders.
Well, in case you ever wondered about the concept of...
Going to wait for the post-fight interview. It took him a while. We're going to explain the timeline, but he has now officially announced himself, even though he's been champion for 2 years in a 160-pound division. Now, not only is he very good on the microphone, not only did he carry himself well as far as holding his own, he went to foreign territory and schooled David Lemieux.
Saunders lands 98 more, throws 74 more, doubles David Lemieux's connect percentage. And even when Lemieux made contact, it wasn't solid contact. No, it was swiping, scraping type contact. Total power punches. Saunders lands 62, and they were crunching, straightforward, hard power punches. Lemieux 55 out of 236 for 23%. Saunders' percentage is 41% in the power punch category. Jabs, and this is all Billy Joe Saunders. 103 out of 279, 37% is a very high connect percentage with the jab. If you're landing 37% of your jabs, you're one of the most effective jabbers in boxing. It's as simple as that. And now here's Max Kellerman standing by with Billy Joe.
Congratulations, Billy Joe. That was a master class in boxing from the very first moment of the first round. How did you do it?
First of all, I just want to say a big, big thank you to Adam and Chad for looking after me in Toronto. And also a big, big thank you to all the Tiger Promotions. And thank you very much, Montreal, and all you fans for coming out to see me. I know you're booing me because I'll whip your fighter's ass, but you know, that's boxing. I'd like to thank my promoter, Frank Warren. And
all right, we got the thank yous, but how'd you do it? From the very first moment of the first round, it was a no contest. Why was that?
Because I know what sort of fighter David Lemieux is. I know what sort of coach he's got. I knew what he was coming for. I look easy to hit. I look easy to hurt. I look easy to put down. I look like I run out of gas. But you can't hit me. If David lands 4 shots on me in the old fight, and he's a world champion, beat him with the best, I like to come in someone's backyard because I perform better. This time last year, I was an absolute disgrace in Scotland, and I'd never ever jump in the ring again, a performance like that. And that's down to one man and one man only, Dominic Ingle from Sheffield. If it wasn't for him, my boxing career would be finished and over. So, down to that man, I'm moving like that. Don't forget, he's trained Nazim, he's trained all of them. I go in there, and I took to each style of training like a duck to water. I knew the very first day, I was excited to get in the ring. I wouldn't have come over here if I thought I was going to get beat. You know what I mean? So,
and that was, you have continued to improve as a pro. And we heard Dominic yelling at you around the 7th or 8th round. He really wanted you to start putting it on David Lemieux. You painted the canvas with his blood here, and at a certain point looked like maybe you could get the stoppage. Did it occur to you that did you want to get the stoppage?
I'm an old different animal now. When I hurt David, I wanted to put it on him. I really did want to put it on him. But that's what I paid Dominic Ingle to do. I went to put it on him, and he was screaming, take your time, don't. And to be fair, it was the best advice, because then I picked, poked, prodded him, and then I just lost him.
Okay, the point of all this seems to be in your debut in North America. Can this guy, if he actually wins and he beats Lemieux, can he do so in a way that makes fight fans think, I don't know who would win, him or Triple G. I don't know who would win, him or Canelo, Danny Jacobs, Andrade. And the answer ringside is, you did it. We don't know. Is that the point?
Well, what I want to say, I've beaten enough dog meat now. Golovkin, you keep saying you want my WBO belt when I was 14 stone out of shape and wasn't in love with boxing. Then you wanted to fight me. Fight me now. Now fight me. We'll see a different story because you'll be punching fresh air. That's it. Thank you to HBO for having me. Merry Christmas, everyone. God bless. And thank you, everybody, for coming out to watch me. Thank you, Frank Warren and BT Sport. Yup, UK.
Thanks, Billy Joe. Great performance. David, what happened tonight?
I wasn't at my best, you know. Yeah, hats up to Billy Joe, but as of the second round, my left hand, I couldn't use it the way I wanted to.
He ain't quit.
And you know, he was on the run, so I had a little bit difficulties throwing my shots, so I gotta say it wasn't my best night. But
how much of that was because of Billy Joe Saunders? It seemed to us ringside, right from the opening bell, a lot of it was because of him.
Well,
he destroyed his excuse.
No, I think a lot of it was because of me. I didn't do it what I could have done. I couldn't use my left hand the way I wanted to, and this was the result. And you know, he was running away from the first round till the end. I guess that's his strategy to win, to run away from fighters instead of fighting. So you know what? If this is the way you want to win, then hey, congratulations.
Okay, thank you, David. Jim?
I don't know about you, Roy, but I think he could have had plaster of Paris in his left glove. And it would...
You know, let me see if they give it. Let me see if they're gonna give us some replays. It was what they call in the UK a master class performance. It was a master class. You know, he just, you know, Billy Joe. Oh, I got some replays for you. You know, Billy Joe just was outboxing him. The jab, the counterpunching, the angles, the movement. I can't stand when a fighter says, you know, he was running. It's like you're telling the fighter, sit there in front of me so I can hit you. What? That doesn't make any sense, does it? Anyway, please subscribe on TstreeT Controversy. This is TstreeT Controversy Live. Before we delve a little deeper into this subject, let's watch a little bit of highlights, and we're going to talk about the fight and talk about what may be next for Billy Joe Saunders. I'm TstreeT Controversy. This is TstreeT Controversy Live. Please subscribe. Let's see, where are we at? Here's one.
4 rounds of a scheduled 12 are complete.
4 rounds up. breathe, slow it down. Right, listen. You bust his nose up, deep breathe, slow it down, you bust his nose up. And another 2 rounds, he's going to get disheartened and he's going to start fucking throwing it away. You understand? You slow your breathing, big deep breath, hold it. And slow. Come on, relax. This boxing is perfect. Understand? Yeah. Perfect. Everything you're doing is 100%. Yeah. Bit of Vaseline on his face. Do not. All he's going to do for the first minute is try and run you down. Deep breathing, slow it. Deep breathing, slow it. Breathe into your belly. He's going to try and chase you down.
Billy Joe looked like a bullfighter with a lead uppercut from outside, followed by a right hook. Then look what he does, Max. Ole around to the right side, let the bull go forward. See that? That right side is killing him. You can't let him continue to move to that right side because he's going to be able to get out of it.
Crazy, right? You know, okay, one more before we move on to what's next. And the question I ask to you is, now the debate is open. You know, do you want to see, you know, Canelo versus Saunders, or do you want to see Golovkin versus Saunders even more now? Now, you know, I'm happy to see a guy like this who I've been following since he fought Tony Hill back in 2011 or 2012. You know, and I've been saying, like, yo, this dude is really good. You know, former Olympian, you know, he has a good amateur background. You know, he's been known to have the boxing ability for quite some time now. However, you know, he hasn't taken the sport seriously enough. And also, he's the type of fighter that, you know, he needs to be in the gym all year round, and he needs to stay active. You know, him fighting just 3 months ago, you know, literally, he fought Willie Monroe in a comeback fight after, you know, damn near having what? It was 10 months off. Almost 10 months off, 9 months off, over 9 months off after fighting Artur Akavov in a fight where, upon first viewing, I thought that it would have been a draw. So I was like, damn, Billy Joe is almost done. But then he fought Willie Monroe. It wasn't too much of a fight. He completely outboxed Willie Monroe to a complete unanimous decision. Willie Monroe didn't come to fight. And then just 3 months later, he fights David Lemieux, a somewhat of a boogeyman of the 160-pound division. And now David Lemieux's career is completely in question. And also, he's going to be typecast as a fighter. Oh, well, you know, if you neutralize his power and his aggression early, or more so his aggression, and you use a jab to keep him off of you, can beat him. And we were talking about this for 6+ hours this week in the live streams, and Billy Joe Saunders did exactly the key to beat David Lemieux. He used the jab, you know, and also he went into the fight with confidence. Here is, which one was it? Which one I want to show you? You know, and the question I asked to you is, you know, let's just watch one more.
Power. That was a round in which Saunders repeatedly disciplined Lemieux for the temerity of thinking that he could fight with him.
No drink. Breathe. Breathe.
My bad.
Go ahead. Take your time. Wipe his mouth. All right, Dave. I want you to get in close to him with your hands high. Counter punch.
Billy Joe put the hurt on him that round. His jab right here was causing most of his problems. After the jab, he goes in close. He follows. He acts like he's going to hold. Then goes an uppercut, followed by an overhand left. Then a beautiful right hook right down the middle. So Billy is not stopping. He's got an attack on David Lemieux that David's not ready for, including that straight left. He caught him standing still, posing, and hit him with a straight left hand. That's why the corner wanted him to make David stand still.
And that was literally the fight. He just was whooping his ass. You know, so now the question is, where does David Lemieux go from here? By the way, here's the WBO rankings. You know, basically, if you're a champion, you have to fight somebody who is ranked, you know, in the top 15 of your division. So let me zoom in here so we can talk about it. Now, here's how the division lays out. As you know, Golovkin is the WBC, WBA, and IBF champion at 160 pounds. Billy Joe has the WBO. So which means that if Billy Joe fights Golovkin in his next fight, or, you know, if he fights Golovkin in his next fight, one of those guys can be another undisputed champion of this era. There's only been 2 in this era, meaning you have to have all 4 of those titles to be considered undisputed. There's a few out there who would say, well, you don't have to have the WBO. And some people will go as far back in the day to say, well, really, all you need is the WBC and the WBA to be undisputed. But no, to be recognized by the media and by the people these days to be undisputed, you have to have all 4 of those titles. Now, Golovkin is supposed to be in heavy negotiations to fight Canelo in May again. But now Billy Joe Saunders, could Canelo go that route and say, okay, well, Golovkin, I'm not going to fight you because David Lemieux is now out of the mix. And he goes on to fight Billy Joe Saunders and beats Billy Joe Saunders and gets his hands on that WBO title? Or do you think that Billy Joe Saunders is not easy work now? You know, maybe people was looking at that fight before. It's like, okay, Canelo can probably beat him or Golovkin can probably beat him. Now would they look at Billy Joe Saunders and say, oh, shit, and he fought in September, he fought in December, then he's fighting in May, 3 fights in less than a year. He's going to be at his best possible shape mentally and physically. You know, I don't think they want those problems. So I think Canelo versus Golovkin too is going to go through. But then here's where things get interesting. Now you have here Jamal Charlo, who is ranked by the WBO. In order to get ranked, your promoter, manager, or yourself, whoever, in this case likely Al Heyman, has to contact the WBO, send in some paperwork to basically say, hey, you know, can you rank our fighter? Normally, we've seen Al Heyman fighters not ranked by the WBO for a while now. But the question is, since David Lemieux was number 1, Rob Brandt was in the World Boxing Super Series tournament, you know, and it's looking like he's not going to be going to the, you know, back to 160. You know, I don't think he should be ranked number 2 there anyway. You got Jamal Charlo, who is likely supposed to be fighting Hugo Centeno for the WBC interim title. They're still working something out there. And then if you look at the rankings for the WBO, Billy Joe Saunders has to fight one of these guys in his next fight. If it's not Golovkin or David, let me get something to drink. Golovkin or Canelo possibly. So here's where things get interesting. Billy Joe has to ride off of that momentum he had for this fight, from this fight, because he don't want to, you know, destroy that by going to fight somebody that he's not going to be able to, you know, tell the fans like, okay, I got a big win, you know, and now I'm going to go back to fighting, you know, domestic level fights. You know, he's got to keep that momentum going, you know. So he did the right thing by calling out Golovkin, but it seems as though, you know, he kind of knows that he was not going to get Canelo. I talked to Oscar De La Hoya last year, you know, earlier this year in January or so, when there was some serious negotiations for Canelo versus Saunders, but then Saunders didn't look good against Artur Alkavov, and just so happened there was a press conference or a media workout for Bernard Hopkins' last fight, and I was like, oh, let me ask, you know, Oscar, if there's something going on, any talks between you know, Canelo and Saunders, and he said at that point in time they was going to cut the offer they made to Billy Joe Saunders in half. Now, another fact is this fight with David Lemieux was supposed to happen in September, but David Lemieux ended up getting injured. Billy Joe Saunders has signed a contract to fight Golovkin in June, but Golovkin had just fought Danny Jacobs in March, and things didn't go to plan, and he ended up fighting Canelo. So, you know, it's a lot to talk about, but, you know, I'm going to save it for the live stream. Like I said, I'm happy for Billy Joe to see him come up and shine on this level after watching him since the first fight I ever watched of his was Tony Hill, and I covered that fight on another channel, and I've covered every single one of his fights since. What was that fight, in 2011 or 20? I believe it was in 2012, so basically it's been, you know, almost 6 years now. You know, technically, yeah, you know, almost 6 years or whatever. On TstreeT Controversy, this is TstreeT Controversy. Please subscribe. I cover every single major fight live. All links to my social media right down below in the description box.